Hello everyone, welcome back to supplychainway.com. I am Malvis Lazarus. In this video lesson, we are going to discuss about a very exciting topic, supply chain postponement strategy. So what we are going to see in this video, what is supply chain postponement strategy, types of postponement and examples on each postponement strategy. Okay, so let's get it started. So we are going to actually first learn about IceGola supply chain, and using that I am going to explain you the crux of product postponement strategy, also called the supply chain postponement strategy. So I am sure you all would have had IceGola. For people who doesn't know what is IceGola, IceGola is an Indian street treat. It is also called a snow cone. It is made of crushed ice and fruity flavors. Now, how IceGola is made? Pretty simple. It has crushed ice made from the ice bars. It has a stick to hold it. So basically the crushed ice is molded onto the stick, and then you have flavors. There are abundant flavors in IceGola now. So basically it is a fruity syrup. Once you crush the ice and put onto the stick, then this syrup is put onto the crushed ice, which give you the taste. So that is a simple way of how an IceGola is made. Now, when we get into the details of the IceGola supply chain, there are 5 key steps in it. The step number 1, stick, ice bars, fruity syrups are sourced. Step number 2, the crushed ice is made from the ice bar. Step number 3, the crushed ice is molded like a cone on the stick, and in some cases it is kept into a small tumbler or a plate. And step number 4, the fruity syrup is added to the crushed ice, which is in the stick. And the last one, the IceGola is handed over to the customer. So pretty simple 5 steps right from the start of sourcing those ingredients till the IceGola is handed over to the customer. Now I am going to explain you 3 different vendors, vendor A, B, C. All these 3 vendors operate in the same business of IceGola with only one difference. The vendor A, he receives the customer order only after that the ice is crushed from the ice bar. He then makes the mold, adds the syrup and hands it over to the customer. The vendor B keeps the crushed ice ready only after the customer order is received. When I say customer order is received, basically a customer walks in and orders for a IceGola. He molds the crushed ice, which is already he has kept ready, onto a stick. He adds the fruity syrup and then hands it over to the customer. The last vendor, that is a vendor C, he doesn't want his customers to wait. He kept everything ready. So moment a customer walks in and asks for IceGola, he has to just hand it over to the customer. That's it. So these are the 3 different vendors who operate in the same business of IceGola. Now let's see who's successful, whether it is going to be vendor A, or will it be vendor B, or it is going to be vendor C. In the outlook of this, it looks like the vendor C is going to be the winner because his customers are not going to wait, because the product is absolutely ready when the customer walks in. So, but what would be the reality? Let's evaluate the pros and cons of these 3 different ways of receiving order in an IceGola supply chain. Okay, so I have made this into a much more comfortable format. I have just put the same process steps. I have put in vendor A, B and C. The arrows which I have indicated explains when that particular vendor is receiving the customer order. And these are the evaluating parameters: customer wait time, IceGola flavors, taste of IceGola, operations and wastage. Now let's go one by one. First, let's talk about customer wait time. It is very obvious here the winner is going to be vendor C, because moment a customer is walking in, the product is already ready. Now in terms of flavor, the winner is going to be A and B. The reason being, just think about the operations of vendor C. Assume he plans to operate say 10 different flavors of IceGola. Since he is already crushing the ice and adding the fruit syrup, for each of those flavor he has to have a barrel full of IceGola made and kept ready, which actually is a limitation to offer multiple flavors. But consider vendor A and B, they are going to have bottles of syrups Tomorrow they want to offer 20 flavors or 50 flavors. They need to have just 50 bottles of syrup. But vendor C have to have 50 barrels of Ice Gola ready with that particular flavor. Another limitation, vendor A and B can give multiple flavors in a single cone, which is practically not possible for vendor C to offer because he is actually preparing and keeping it ready. So that flexibility of multiple flavors or mix of flavors is not possible with vendor C, which is actually a big negative, because in Ice Cola business the one wow factor is the flavors and mixed flavors in a cone. So vendor A and B are the winners in terms of flavors. In terms of taste, vendor C, the biggest disadvantage, since he is already making things and keeping it there, assume he is preparing it in the morning. After 3-4 hours, I am sure that the Ice Gola is not going to be fresh. But in the case of A and B, definitely it is going to be fresh. But I've still made vendor A as the winner. The reason being, it is not very advisable to crush your ice and then store it. So still in terms of freshness and taste, vendor A is the winner because everything is made at that point of time before handing it over to the customer. Coming back to operations, vendor A and B are the winners for the very reason vendor C is going to have barrels of prepared Ice Gola. It is very difficult to handle on a working environment, which is a big negative. But in case of vendor A and B, all you need to do is just make the cone, ask the customer which flavor you need. You need to just put that onto the crushed ice and you can give it to the customer. The last one is in terms of wastage. Absolutely vendor A won't have any wastages since he is preparing everything after an order is received. But in case of vendor C, he is going to be in a big problem for the very reason he is preparing and keeping everything ready, so he has to predict the demand very well. Like for example, he has a flavor of a grape, mango and strawberry. On a particular day, all the customers walked in preferred grape and mango. The entire barrel of strawberry goes waste. Overall, vendor A is going to be the winner in terms of wastage. So if you really look at this table, it is very evident vendor A is going to have a very smooth operations, though vendor C is going to give the Ice Gola very quickly. He is going to lose his customers because of the Ice Golas which are not tasty, as well as in terms of his bottom line, the wastage is going to erode his profits as well. So now this gives a good idea of how the vendor A, B and C business is going to be. Now let's go back to the slide. So if you really look at this Ice Gola supply chain, that one simple step of when you have to receive your order, or to put it in another way around, after receiving your customer order, what are all the things you are going to do, has actually set the entire tone for the business. So now let's get a bit more detail onto it. Let's consider the midpoint as the receipt of a customer order. Now if basis that if you align the three different ways of operations by the vendor A, B and C, all that made the difference for each of them on a positive way or negative way is the step which is creating the variation, addition of fruity syrup to the crushed ice. So vendor A and B kept the process step which is creating the variation after the receipt of order, and vendor C kept the process step which created the variation before the receipt of customer order. Just this small variation actually created the Himalayan difference for each of this business. So let's get into the definition of supply chain postponement strategy. So the supply chain postponement strategy is a delay by design, by which an activity which creates the variation in the offering is delayed to be as close to the receipt of the customer order or after it as well. So if you want to relate it to this Ice Gola supply chain, the delay is made intentionally. So the activity which actually created the variation is the addition of the fruity syrup, and it is intentionally delayed by the vendors A and B such that they get the benefit out of that strategy. Okay, so this is the definition for supply chain postponement strategy. Now there are different types of postponement strategy. Let me explain that for you. So we have MTS, which is make to stock. We have ATO, which is assemble to order. We have MTO, which is make to order. ETO, which is engineer to order. DTO is design to order. ITO is innovate to order. They may look complex, but let me explain you one by one with the context of keeping the time of receipt of order in mind. This is the time when you are receiving your order. So make to stock means, it is very evident, it's saying make to stock. That means you are making a product and keeping it in stock, and after that an order is received from the customers. In case of assemble to order, after an order is received, the final product is assembled and given. That is an assemble to order. In case of MTO, which is manufacture to order, only after the order from the customer is received, the actual product is manufactured. That is MTO. In terms of engineer to order and design to order, there is very small difference. In engineer to order, the designs are available, but they are tweaked and refined and then manufactured, and then you are going to ship it to the customer. DTO, which is design to order, the design is made right from scratch as per the requirement of the customer, and then you manufacture the product and then you send it to the customer. In case of ITO, which is innovate to order, which is a very, very rare scenario, only the concept is there. The concept is then converted into a design, and then you manufacture it and then you send it to the customer. Everything happens after you actually receive the order. As I said before, the crucial part is the step that creates the variation. Okay, so if you remember the vendor A, B and C, the vendor A only after the order is received makes the ice gola. So that means he is following an MTO. The second vendor is keeping the crushed ice ready. Only after an order is received, he is molding that crushed ice and then adding the syrup. It is kind of assembled to an order. That means ATO. And the last one is make to stock, wherein vendor C kept everything ready and just hand it over to the customer when an order is placed. So in the example of Ice Gola supply chain, MTO is the winner for the reasons which we have discussed. Now similar way, let's go ahead and see some more examples on each of the product postponement strategies, also called as supply chain postponement strategies. First one, MTS. So some of the examples of MTS are passenger car. You want a car, you go to a dealer, the product is ready, you decide which car you want and you buy that car. Same is the case with chocolate. You want a chocolate, you just go to a supermarket, see all the options available, pick the one you like, the flavor you like, you buy and come out. Same is the case with biscuits. So all these MTS items, the product is ready when you want it. All you need to do is just go and buy it. Now let's go to the next one, which is an ATO. ATO is assemble to order. The very famous example is Subway. You walk into a Subway, every ingredient is ready. All you need to do is decide all the ingredients which is needed and everything is assembled right before your eyes. So that is a very classic example for an assemble to order. The next one is laptops. Dell, when they started initially, they started as a full-fledged assemble to order. Even now, Dell and even other players have a portion of their business where you can go to their website and select the configuration of your laptop or a desktop, and the provider assembles the product as per your requirement and ships it to you. So these are some of the examples for ATO, and some examples for MTO, which is make to order. The very classic example is birthday cakes. You go to a shop and you see a catalog full of different designs and shapes which are available. You pick the one you want, you just give a message what you want, place the order, you come back and the cake gets delivered to you in say 2 days or 3 days or a max of 4 days. That is a good example for make to order. Next one is ETO, CTO, DTO. I've just clubbed them together because most cases in reality there is an overlap between each of them. So ETO and DTO you know, engineer to order, design to order, but CTO I have not given you. So CTO is configure to order or customize to order. I prefer to say it customize to order. So I'll give you a few examples. See this wallet. The wallet is not made when you're giving the order. The wallet is there. you need to pick the wallet, you need to pick the color of the wallet, then you can tell what kind of messages you need, what kind of that pins you need. You select everything and then you give it to them and the product is shipped to you. So in this case, actually what is happening is the product is customized as per your requirement. If you remember the previous example what I've shown for the cake, I've not set the cake as a CTO. The reason being, the cake is made only after you place an order. But in this case, it is customized because the individual components are already ready, but it is customized by doing a mix and match as per your order. And see this one, this is a kid's room which is absolutely designed right from scratch, which is a great example for DTO. You place an order to a provider, then a designer will work with you to completely design this room, and then this goes for manufacturing and then it gets installed at your premises. So this is a very good example for design to order. Now in the same room, there could be an option 50% of items are already available, rest of the 50% is manufactured. In that case, it becomes a mix between customized to order and design to order as well. That's the reason I said there will be always an overlap between these three. Now engineer to order, the only difference is the design is already available, but it is modified to suit the customer's requirement a little bit. That becomes an engineer to order. Okay, I'm sure it is not confusing. Let me restate this once again. So customized to order, all the individual products are available, but the mix and match is done after an order is received. Design to order, the complete design is done only after an order is received. Engineer to order, the base designs are available, but it is little bit refined after an order is received. That becomes an ETO. Let's go to the next one. ITO, which is innovate to order. One very good example which I can think of is the premium vehicles which are used to transport the Prime Minister or the President of the country, where the concept as a requirement is given, and basis that the complete innovation is done. So I'm sure now you are clear with all the different supply chain postponement strategies. Next few slides, I am going to show you some very interesting views on supply chain postponement strategies from different supply chain enthusiasts. Let's read them. First one is from Deepak Yadav. He is a GM in Central Procurement and SEM, and this is what he says. And you can just read by yourself. But what I really liked in what he has said is, as expectations rise, the MTO supply chain will move to a configure order. So if you remember the previous video where we talked about what makes supply chain complex and exciting, the first point we talked about is the customer expectation, and what Deepak Yadav said is well aligned with that. I really like that the first line, how we started explaining about this postponement strategies. And the second one, I have Yash Udeshi, and this is what he said. And what I liked in his viewpoint is that the volatility in demand and orders from the customers has a pivotal impact in ensuring supply chains being agile and responsive. It's very true indeed. And I really like the way how Yash has started his viewpoint. And the next one is from Vinith from NSK Enterprises. And what I liked from Vinith's viewpoint is the term he used where we are giving a buying experience to customers same like a supermarket. So this is kind of a next gen to me, where yes, the same product, but you are making so many options to the customers, but also make it readily available same like an MTS. Probably it's very visionary, but this is the next gen what the supply chains will obviously move towards. And the last one I have is from Vaibhav, and this is what Vaibhav says. And what I've really liked about Vaibhav's viewpoint is the selection of these postponement strategies depends on the type of product. He actually nailed it. If you really see the Ice Gola example, we decided that the make to order is the winner. That it's very specific to Ice Gola and the mode of operation. I think that is what very well said by Vaibhav. So these are some of the views from the supply chain enthusiasts. I'm sure you enjoyed hearing from them. And now to summarize what we've seen in this video lesson, Supply chain postponement strategy. In a nutshell, what we talked about is supply chain postponement strategy is nothing but keeping that step which creates the variation in your offerings as close to the customer's order or even after customer's orders. And then we have seen about postponement strategy. By now you are familiar with all these things. And the last one, we have seen different examples of each of these postponement strategies. I'm sure you enjoyed this video. Supply chain postponement strategies are very crucial when we set up a new supply chain, and they actually make or break the success of an organization. With that, we have come to the end of this video. If you have any questions, or if you have any comments, or if you have any further clarifications, feel free to drop me a note on the comment section of this video. I would be glad to answer them for you. Thank you so much.